You have a rule for yourself that you would never apply to anyone else. If you did it, it can't be actually good. This isn't about convincing yourself you're amazing. It's about realizing you may not be see yourself clearly. Because when something comes from you, it doesn't feel impressive. It feels normal, like your usual way of being. Someone praises a progress you made, a thing you said, a deal you handled well, and your first instinct isn't to take it in. It's to explain it away. It's not that hard, really. Anyone could have done that. I've just got lucky with the timing. You watch someone else do difficult things and you think that's a talent, but when you do something hard yourself, you think that's just me doing the thing I do. Same skill level, different distance. When it comes from someone else, you can admire it. When it's you doing it, you just tend to ignore it. I know this because I do it too. I can spend hours making something, caring about every detail, and once it's finished, all I see is the part that didn't work. If someone says it was good, I want to say, yeah, but you didn't see how messy it felt from my side. And I don't think that actually makes me happier in life. Maybe you feel the same way. Remember when you finish something you work hard on, and instead of letting yourself feel proud, you're already listing what's wrong with it. You can reread the message you sent, you only see the sentence that sounds weird. You walk away from a conversation where you were actually warm, funny, present, and all you remember is the one awkward pause. But the person you have been talking with didn't even notice it. You think about meeting someone new, but before you even open your mouth, you already imagine them losing interest. So you tend to avoid any social contacts. But maybe you weren't right about yourself. Other people get to see your result while you're stuck watching your progress. They see the finished thing, and you were there for all the hesitation, the second guessing, the parts you almost gave up on. You keep treating your competence like it doesn't count, because it came from you. And once you do that long enough, you stop applying for things. You stop entering rooms. You stop starting conversations, not because you know you're not enough, because you're used to moving through life as if that's already been decided. Unfortunately, you had probably stopped reaching for things long before anyone even has the chance to say no. I can finish a video, export it, upload it, and before it even has a time to exist online, I'm already thinking about my voice, which doesn't sound good enough for me, the awkward phrases, the part where the idea didn't land the way I wanted. If this is you, it doesn't mean you're not ready yet. It means you never had the chance to see yourself the way other people see you. Your self-assessment may come from an older version of your life, from rooms you already left, people you no longer need to impress, standards that were never fair to begin with. Maybe you grew up somewhere that rewarded humility more than confidence. Maybe the people around you were generous with criticism and quiet with praise. So your internal volume got tuned that way, all the way up for flaws, almost off for anything that was working. The fact that something comes easy to you doesn't mean it's unremarkable. Sometimes it means you have already done so much quiet work that the result no longer feels meaningful from the inside. The things that come naturally to you don't feel special, because you never had to stand across from them and be impressed. You were there while they were forming. You remember the uncertainty. Or maybe you remember doing something easily as long as you remember yourself. You need to stop acting like what you did doesn't count just because you were the one who did it. When something goes well and the inner voice kicks in to minimize it, pause before you follow it. Don't call it luck. Don't call it easy. Just let it exist for 10 seconds before you start making it smaller. And when things don't go well, try looking at it instead of immediately turning them into a statement about who you are. There's a real difference between "this didn't work the way I wanted" and "I'm not good at this." One is information, the other is a sentence you start living together in your head. Same with the places you avoid, the conversation you don't start, the opportunity you don't reach for. Ask yourself honestly, do you actually know you don't belong there? Or you have just repeated the thought so many times that it stopped feeling like a thought? I am saying this to you, but I am also saying it to myself, because I still forget that the things I made, the situations I handled, the problems I quietly keep going through, they matter, even when nobody points at them and says they do. And maybe you can find some reliance in yourself first, not with suddenly believing you're amazing, but with finally giving some weight to what you have already done. You don't need to disappear into the forest for 3 months and call it self-improvement. Just a little less reflexive self-raising. When something goes well, try not to rush into explaining why it doesn't actually count. Leave it alone for a second. Let it be part of the story too. Not the whole story. Not the proof that you're amazing. Just something real that happened.